Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM here in Accra and Kumasi. We're on Love 99.5 FM affiliate across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Kekeli Radio in Ho, Volta Premier also in Ho. We're on Radio Pando in Pando, Jata FM in Karaga, and A1 Radio in Bogatanga. We're live on X Spaces. We're on Facebook. You're myjoyonline.com. The Midday News is sponsored by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrol Sol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDPE pipes and water tank. We are the only water storage tank with a level indicator. Where Duraplus goes, water always flows. This afternoon, NDC's Council of Elders and National Executive Committee set to resolve Running Mate dilemma as they consider Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman's partnership with former President Mahama for the upcoming crucial 2024 elections.
His Excellency the President and the NDC is looking out for credibility and integrity to bring back some level of confidence in the office of a vice president. Other than that, tomorrow, a vice president will go to the market and people will begin to hoot at him.
But is that the ideal choice? Who are the names on John Mahama's list? We're live at the residence of the chairman of the Council of Elders, Alhaji Mahama Idrisu, and the NDC's headquarters for the very latest. Also this afternoon, the Electoral Commission is meeting with representatives from the political parties to firm up the crucial election 2024 timetable. We are live at the EC headquarters. Also this afternoon, debate intensifies on whether President Akufo-Addo should assent to the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill. We'll be hearing from the World Bank as it affirms its long-standing productive relationship with Ghana amidst fears of sanctions.
I don't think they have the right to actually practice whatever they want to practice. So I think the president have to sign it, the bill.
The burden lies on him to choose between foreign aid and the customs and values of the country. And the president being a human rights lawyer, I believe you take a decision that is best for the country.
We'll get to hear from Roxanne Nelson, a supporter of the bill, threatening to sue the president if he fails to sign.
Time will begin to count. If after 14 days he doesn't exercise that, I'm going back to the Supreme Court to compel him to perform his constitutional function.
You will sue the president?
I will sue.
You want to stay for details of that? And have you had to share the road with cattle recently?
It left small. I would have run into the cattle with my family.
You find cattle grazing places you don't expect to see them.
They are all over the place. It's very difficult to understand it.
And you see them even litter with their people all.
We'll tell you more about this disturbing trend. Plus, do you know that as a cattle owner, you can be jailed for up to 3 months for letting your animals loose? We have details of that also in sports. In our Ghana Man series, we put a spotlight on the Kintampo waterfalls in the Bono East region, where 7 years ago, 20 revelers lost their lives.
I think post the disaster, it really helped the place. I think that is what brought some of the major faces to come and look at the site.
That's and more in this afternoon's edition of the Midday News. I am Emefa. Apawu, please stay. Many thanks for your company. We start off from the election headquarters, made possible by Petrol Sol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Also brought to you by CIMA Chartered Institute of Management Accountant, AICPA and CIMA together as the associations. And also this afternoon, the Council and the National Executive Committee of the National Democratic Congress are set to either endorse or reject the choice of a running mate for election 2024 proposed by the party's flag bearer, John Dramani Mahama. Indications are that the former president has settled on Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman to partner him in the December elections. Well, a statement issued by Mr. Mahama's special aide Joyce Bawa Mukhtari said Mr. Mahama will present his nominee to the Council of Elders, which is currently underway. It further indicates that today's event marks a critical step in the party's preparations for the upcoming general elections. My colleague Elton Brobe joins me in studio with more of what we're learning from that particular statement. What's there, Elton?
So, Emefa, there are two statements. This is signed by Joyce
Bawa, the leader and the flag bearer of the NDC, John Dramani Mahama, is set to meet with the party National Executive Committee today to submit his nomination for running mate in accordance with the NDC's constitution. Earlier this morning, Mr. Mahama will present his nominees to the Council of Elders. Today's events mark a step in the party's preparation for the upcoming general elections. The NDC constitution requires the party presidential candidate to nominate a running mate in consultation with the National Executive Committee and the National Council of Elders. Mahama and the NDC are dedicated to building a formidable team that will work tirelessly to advance the interests of the Ghanaian people and reset the country on a path towards recovery and a prosperous future. And this is signed by Joyce Bauer.
Muktari. Now, we know that the former president has also been tweeting about this. What has he been saying?
And he says, excited to meet with the NDC National Executive Committee and the Council of Elders to present my nominee for the running mate as we prepare for the election in December. Now, the word here is nominee, not nominees. Together, we will work tirelessly to advance the interests of the Ghanaian people and build a prosperous future for all. This is coming from John Dramani Mahama.
Now we all can't wait, can we? I'll take you live to the chairman, the resident of the chairman of the Council of Elders of the NDC, Alhaji Mahama Idrisu, where the National Council of Elders are currently meeting. My colleague Blessed Sugai is there for us. But what will influence the choice of the NDC National Executive Committee as they deliberate on the name? We can listen to the Deputy General Secretary of the party, Mustafa Bande.
His Excellency the President and the NDC is looking out for credibility and integrity to bring back some level of confidence in the office of a vice president. Other than that, tomorrow, a vice president will go to the market and people will begin to hoot at him. And that is a high office of the land. But from where I sit as a deputy general secretary, I know that quite a number of people are on the list. And that Professor Jane is not short of that list. She actually made it to that list of running mates in the last 2020 election. She was part of the team that bridged the gap of our defeat from 2016. So we went with her, our votes went up. So it does not, there's nothing that suggests that it should be her or it should not be her. If His Excellency the President decides that, okay, given the circumstances that we find ourselves, the kind of problem that we have as a country, step aside for another person to take my running mate slot, I think it's ideal, it's correct. Taking to fill the gap, bring on board somebody that will satisfy the people of Ghana with credibility and integrity. And somebody who will bring to the high office of a running mate and, of course, an automatic vice president, a leverage of credibility and integrity. Somebody that when he says that, I'll protect the public purse, you and I don't have to go and look for police to chase them to bring the purse.
That's the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Mustafa Bande there. We'll take you live now to the resident of the chairman of the Council of Elders of the NDC. That's Alhaji Mahama Idrisu, where my colleague Blessed Sugai is stationed all morning. Blessed, is the National Council of Elders clear in your minds who the running mate is?
It appears that there's a clarification on the direction the NDC wants to head in terms of the selection of the running mate. But as we speak now, the residents of the chairperson of the Council of Elders, Alhaji Mahama, that engagement is still underway. Just to, tidy up a few issues before the main announcement, which we're expecting at the party's headquarters in a few hours from now. But the rank and file of the NDC, especially the executives, are here, and it's almost raining, which for some is a signal and a sign of some good omen for the party. But we wait to see what the announcement will be as to whether or not it will be Professor Jane Nana-Opoku-Agyeman or the NDC might want to use or go with a new candidate for who would partner John Dramani Mahama going into the future.
Well, I'm curious, who and who are in this meeting? Hello, Blessed. Unfortunately, we've just lost a Blessed Suga there on the line, but the National Council of Elders are meeting as we speak at Alhaji Mahama Idrisu's residence. He's the chairman of the Council of Elders, and they are considering the names or the nominee or the nominees put out by former President John Dramani Mahama. But from his post on social media, it appears it's just a nominee, and is almost setting that is Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. But there's a strong push also for the former president, a female, to partner with the NDC's flag bearer, for the upcoming elections. Well, but is the Member of Parliament for Korle Klottey, Dr. Zaneto Agyemang-Rawlings, nursing a presidential ambition? You know her name has come up. We've been speaking to her.
And if we're really to make progress, we're going to have to look at this as it is, not through partisan lenses. Right. We're really just going to have to face the truth about where we are. We're not doing well enough within the political landscape. And we also have a scenario where not enough women are wanting to enter the party at the various levels.
Do you feel that you would want to, at some point, scale it up? Do you feel Ghanaians will want to see you do more, at least, become president of this republic?
Maybe you should do a survey and let's find out. Because I'm not quite sure I can sit here and jump to that conclusion. Well, I think that it's difficult not to think about what one might do differently when one sees the frustrations and the challenges that we face as a country. Yes, it's something that I think one is forced to look at and think about. And with regards to what the future holds, I think that we will have to see. I believe that when it comes to the issue of leadership, Ghanaians beyond a woman are also looking for a certain level of integrity. I think politics has become so badly tarnished that people recognize when people are being genuine, when people are being sincere, and when people are fighting for the truth. I would like to believe that I have so far represented my people with integrity and with the level of commitment that I was expected to, and hopefully more.
That's Member of Parliament for Korle Klottey, Dr. Zaneto Agyemang-Rawlings. I'll stay a while longer on the political front. And don't forget, we'll bring you extensive coverage of this particular meeting of the National Council of Elders and, of course, the National Executive Committee later at the NDC headquarters as they consider who becomes the running mate or the ideal choice for John Dramani Mahama. But let me take you now to the Electoral Commission headquarters, and they've been meeting representatives of the political parties at an inter-party advisory committee. The main agenda on the table today is the timetable for the December polls. My colleague Samuel Mbura is there for us and joins us on the line with details. Is there a conclusion on the matter, Samuel?
Emefa, as we speak, all political parties are duly represented. The Electoral Commission bosses are also there in a closed-door meeting. The media is not allowed entry. I'm currently just by the walls of the Electoral Commission here at Rage, waiting for the official communication from the EC. But our sources tell us that the main issue on the banner has to do with the delay in the release of the elections calendar by the Electoral Commission. So at the moment, they are deliberating on this particular critical issue, among other issues concerning the upcoming general election.
That's my colleague Samuel Mbura, and we are hoping that the Electoral Commission will hold a press conference later today, and we'll bring that to you also live on all our social media platforms, also on the Joy News channel and here on Joy 99.7 FM. It's a Thursday, and later today we have State of Play, and on the table they are discussing a number of issues on the political front. Head of our political desk, Evans Mensah, joins us on the line with more what to expect. Evans, take us away.
Yeah, of course, Emefa Power. You talk about head of the political desk, but as you know, on State of Play, the three heads will gather. You know, the party says they are meeting the National Executive Committee at 2. Well, at 2:30, there will be the unofficial unveiling of the NDC running mate on State of Play. The three heads will do just that, and so you don't want to miss that for anything. If you want to hear who that running mate is before you hear it officially, the place to be, State of Play, only on social media, on the Joy FM platforms at 2:30.
Politically incorrect. You want to catch all these three heads much later, 2:30. Now, in a related development, the National Peace Council has cautioned political party leaders not to be quick in resorting to violence during the December 7 presidential and parliamentary polls. The council expects parties to help sustain the effort by the government to mitigate existing and emerging threats to peace and security ahead of the election. Speaking at a trust building workshop in the Ashanti region, the chairman of the Peace Council, Reverend Ben Abubakar, admonished political parties to value the lives of voters.
Non-violence is a powerful weapon that must be well utilized in our country. If our country is to progress as peacefully as we would want it to, we must respect the foundation of our humanity and accept the fact that Dialogue through consensus in our diversity is the only hope. We shouldn't be quick to resort to violence and chaotic behavior whenever tensions arise. Bearing in mind that nowadays the use of dialogues for negotiation of all human needs has proven to be effective in the settlement of our misunderstandings.
Well, the police representative at that Trust Building Workshop, COP Owusumpieni, also admonished the parties to accept the outcome of the election.
For how far we've gone and for where we want to be, Ghanaians will appreciate the system and ensure that they assist and support us to do our work to ensure a peaceful polling process. After election, we expect that when Ghanaians have spoken, we respect whatever Ghanaians will tell us. This is where we show that we are Ghanaians. This is where we show and portray to the world that we love our country.
Well, now, as the contentious Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill awaits the President's decision, Ghanaians find themselves debating the potential consequence of its enactment. Divisive opinions continue to emerge regarding whether the President should assent to the bill, which has sparked concerns both domestically and internationally. Well, amidst these deliberations, the World Bank Group says it has a long-standing relationship with the Republic, despite recent speculation that it may soon be cutting aid and development assistance programs to Ghana. Head of our Foreign Affairs Desk, Blessed Suga, has more in the following report.
President Akufo-Addo is being tested more than ever. Parliament has indeed passed the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill, and soon that document will be at his desk begging for a presidential assent. At a meeting with the diplomatic community, President Akufo-Addo says he will be guided by the Supreme Court on this matter.
But suffice it to say that I have learned that today a challenge has been mounted at the Supreme Court by a concerned citizen to the constitutionality of the proposed legislation. In the circumstances, it would be as well for all of us to hold our hands and await the decision of the court before any action is taken.
President Akufo-Addo has given his assurances to the diplomatic community in Ghana that the country will uphold its long-standing attachment to the values of rule of law and the respect for human rights. As the country awaits its ultimate decision, a section of the public remain divided on whether or not the president should give his assent to the passage of this controversial bill.
So I don't think they should be allowed to make it public, like they have their right to actually practice whatever they want to practice. So I think the president have to sign it, the bill. Dubai is an example. I heard one, I don't know whether it's a minister or in US saying Ghana will lose tourism advantages, which I don't think is true. Dubai is not condoning LGBTQ, and they have the best tourists when it comes to tourism. Dubai is on top.
So Ghana as a society, do our norms allow us to assess such kind of, let me say, in code conduct? If it's no, regardless of the sanction that are imposed to us, I think we should hold our integrity.
Well, in an interesting development, Uganda, which recently enacted a similar bill with even stricter sanctions, including capital punishment, has just secured a $120 million IMF credit facility for the country, significantly enhancing its financial outlook for the year. Isaac Ofieje has more on this. He joins me in studio. What are the details?
Well, so Emefa, we've been monitoring countries that have currently criminalized LGBTQ activities and are enjoying IMF programs. So it was just yesterday that we got an email from the IMF confirming that Uganda, after passing their fifth review, will have immediate disbursement of about $120 million from the IMF. Now, since June 2021, Uganda has received a total of $870 million from the IMF, including the current scheduled amount of $120 million. Now, they are currently running an extended credit facility like Ghana, and are expecting a total package of $1 billion from the IMF. And this is the comment from the IMF on their economy. According to the IMF, inflation outlook has improved in Uganda, with core inflation expected to remain subdued at 2.8%. Currently, Ghana is doing around 23.5%. Uganda is doing 3.4%.
There's no fear for Ghana at all. Now, the push now for the president to sign is even stronger. And spokesperson Sheikh Karimi Al-Shaibu for the national chief imam questioned Ghana's independence if the president fails to do so due to external pressure.
So where is our independence? That is one of our major worries. Because now it's not even about our concern and feelings as citizens of this country, but because a certain pressure from outside, which didn't begin today. Now, under this circumstance, IMF is also bringing its pressure to bear on us. So it means that as a nation, we are not truly independent.
Now, one of the sponsors of the bill, Roxanne Nelson Dapawu, has announced plans to initiate legal proceedings against President Akufo-Addo if he refuses to assent.
No bill has been passed. No bill has been passed into law yet. That's the fundamental point I'm making. So it is premature. I am not saying the court cannot make pronouncement on the constitutionality of a law passed by Parliament.
But it's not become a law yet.
Yes. So the food is not yet cooked. It's cooking. It's not yet cooked.
In other words, what you're saying is the president can go ahead and give us assent to this.
Which he has to.
Yes. Which he has to?
Which he has to. Which I will be suing. As soon as we remit this to his office, time will begin to count. If after 14 days he doesn't exercise that, I'm going back to the Supreme Court to compel him to perform his constitutional function.
That's Roxanne Nelson Dapawu, but still on the Human, Sexual and Family Values Bill. There was a development last Saturday on Newsfile, and one of the guests on the show, Professor Audrey Gajepo, raised concerns about some cultural practices in Ga and in Zima culture that promote homosexual practices. She has a statement rendering an unqualified apology to the people of Gadangbe, and in Zima, the statement reads, I want to quote, I wish to render my sincere apology to the Gadangbe community and all others who may have been offended by what I said. My intent was to draw attention to the tolerance exhibited in some of our culture at a time of great intolerance where there have been attacks on citizens who are perceived as sexual minorities. As a human rights advocate, I believe in creating a safer world for all. The statement concludes by saying, in these times of heightened animosity and dehumanizing or humanization of fellow Ghanaians, it is essential to draw inspiration from Ghanaian culture. This is the sense in which I refer to the Ga and Nzima communities. I recognize that in the important but tense debates going on, some have sought to twist my message and create a different impression. And finally, final portions of it says, I deeply regret any notion that attributes same-sex practices to Gadangbe and Nzima cultures, as well as any pain that my remarks may have inadvertently caused Gadangbe and Nzima communities. Signed, Professor Audrey Gajepo, taking us here on a quick break on the Midday News on Joy 99.7 FM, also on myjoyonline.com, X Spaces, and we've been also, it's made possible by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol is always a delightful experience. Also brought to you by Duraplus Ghana Limited, producers of quality PVC and HDP pipes and water tank. Where Duraplus goes, water flows. We return from the break with sports. And then, have you had to share the road with cattle recently?
It left small. I would have run into the cattle with my family. You find cattle grazing places you don't expect to see them. They are all over the place. You find it difficult to understand it.
And you see them being
Dive into a new era of news consumption with myjoyonline.com, your go-to destination for cutting-edge journalism, giving you the most credible stories from business to politics and from sports to entertainment. Myjoyonline.com introduces an upgraded news website meticulously designed to empower you with an enriched browsing experience like never before. Experience the future of news browsing with myjoyonline.com.
When budgets are tight and money difficult to come by, you want to be sure you get the best value for your money. These are not times to be spending money fixing expensive engine problems because of cheap fuel and lubricants. Drive to a Petrosol station today and buy your quality fuel and lubricants, and rest assured of fuel that lasts long and lubricants that prevent expensive engine problems. Hear the sound. Petrosol, clean fuel in full quantity.
Thanks for choosing us. Let's do sports. Guess who's here? Hello.
Hello, Emefa. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. What do we have in sports?
It hasn't been the best of starts for Ghana so far in the ongoing African Games, as the men's and women's table tennis team have not been able to pull the best of results Ghana has been seeking for. President of the country, Nana Akufo-Addo, has asked Ghanaians to lower our expectations.
I am not promising a Ghana clean sweep of track and field. That would be a miracle. I'm promising a happy and exciting month for all our visitors. We in Ghana know how to set the lead. We did it in 1957 when we were the first African nation in sub-Saharan Africa to gain independence from colonial bondage. We have got other firsts with doubtful boasts, but we have always managed to get out of difficult situations with amazing grace. We owe it to ourselves and to the rest of Africa to be that shining black star.
Emefa, so don't be too expectant when the medals don't flow.
Muftal, thank you. Now, there seems to be a cattle loose in some parts of the national capital as some drivers and pedestrians say they've been forced to wait for cattle to cross the road unattended to or have avoided accidents due to the herd. Some of them called into the Super Morning Show.
You find cattle grazing places you don't expect to see them, and you don't know even who to go to complain in solving the problem. And people are being paid to solve some of these problems, and yet the problems are becoming unbecoming. I don't really know where we have gotten to as a country. It's a shame. The beacon of hope in Africa, they are all over the place, morning, evening. It's very difficult to understand it. We have leaders and individuals have brought their cattle and they graze anywhere they want to do it.
See, there's a road that leads to the Paroya at the traffic light. You pass there and all over the place, and I will have to slow down all because cows are crossing the road there. It's just very unfortunate.
Well, some of them callers into the Super Morning Show today. Now, Director of Metro Public Health Department at the AMA, Florence Kuchi, explains assemblies must ensure they have pens to cater for the cattle in their community. She, however, cautions cattle owners to adhere to the bylaws regarding cattle rearing.
The bylaws are there, and when we get you to the court, you will be fined a huge sum of money. And if you are not able to pay, you can go to a prison for not less than 3 months if your animal strays and then the environmental officers happens to arrest it. And the cattle will be seized from you, and the cattle will be kept in the assembly pen for a number of 7 days. Then the cattle will be auctioned for sale. It will not be given to you, and you yourself will be sent to court, and court will fine you, so you will lose your cattle, and the law will still deal with you for not less than 3 months.
Now, in our Ghana Man series, we put a spotlight on the Kintampo waterfalls in the Bono East region, where 7 years ago, 20 revelers lost their lives. Management of the facility say the disaster, though painful, has increased the fortunes of the facility. Anna Sabit has more.
Michael Afake Delali is the site manager here. He takes us through when the Kintampo waterfall was first discovered as well as its source.
It was discovered in the 18th century by Nana Trema, and through hunting he found out that this is the wonderful thing that God has given to Kintampo. The waterfall is in 3 stages. There is stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3. I think post the disaster it really helped the place. I think that is what brought some of the major places to come and look at the site. And I think the rehabilitation and the redevelopment, I think that brought the new stairs and a couple of structures and also made the administration a very functional administration.
In terms of visitations, Michael tells me there's been a massive improvement with the facility recording up to 26,000 visitations in the year 2023 compared to a figure of 22,000 in the year 2022.
That's our Ghana Man series, and it's time for Max and Jackie M and J.
Yes,
we were here yesterday. Where were you?
It was a holiday. We're enjoying the holiday.
You know? Let's hit the streets of social
I was in bed listening to you on radio. Yeah, okay. So Richard Delasky, our colleague media practitioner Richard Delasky, is trending on X. And on X, when we say they are cooking somebody, you know what they're
cooking like what?
So I was asking Jackie, what's the best food to describe? To say beans, you know.
Please don't.
It takes a longer time to cook beans, and that's how they are cooking. Our colleague media practitioner Richard Delasky, because of his case in court, and 2 of his old tweets have resurfaced. Okay. Jackie, you have...
so I have a tea here from Oliver Baka Vomao. He says Richard Delasky is the perfect description of the Fourth Republic, Mutromojo Republic.
And then this one here says, Richard Sky, I greet you again. What happened to you now? Money influenced you? And this coming from Sawa.
Yeah, and Emefa also, there's another hashtag trending, the face, the flag. You know, people have taken to social media to show how proud they are to be Ghanaians. So we have beautiful women and also handsome men trending on social media. The face of, I think Emefa, you should join. The face with the flag and the face.
Okay. Well, we'll see how that goes. You guys get out of here. And that's how we wrap up today's edition of the Midday News here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more when you log on to myjoyonline.com. If Akufo-Addo does not sign anti-gay bill, I'll sue him. That's the Famako. That's and more. Also, NDC's National Executive Committee to consider Mahama's running mate today. We're all over that for you. You want to stay with here on Joy 99.7 FM and Joy News and also myjoyonline.com. Living Word with Pastor